A very good evening and a very warm welcome to CVR English channel. I am Jyoti. As we stand at the close of 2025, tonight we invite you to pause, reflect and look back at a year that shaped the nation in many ways. A year of historic achievements and hard lessons, from decisive security operations and grand spiritual gatherings to breakthroughs in space and infrastructure, high voltage politics, unforgettable sporting moments and incidents that spark national conversations. Welcome to our special story Rewind 2025, where we take you through the events that defined the year and left a lasting imprint on India. Our first and most defining highlight of 2025, Operation Sindoor. Our first and most significant highlight of 2025, the Pahalgam attack and the launch of Operation Sindoor. Early in the year, intelligence agencies intercepted credible threats in the Pahalgam region. In response, Operation Sindoor was launched as a high-priority, multi-agency counter-terror initiative. The operation focused on neutralizing terror modules, dismantling sleeper cells and cutting off funding networks. Security forces, combining ground action with intelligence and cyber surveillance, successfully foiled several planned attacks, recovered arms and explosives, and arrested key operatives. The operation was widely recognized for its precision, coordination and minimal civilian impact. The Pahalgam attack and Operation Sindoor set the tone for India's zero-tolerance approach to terrorism in 2025, establishing a new benchmark for intelligence-led security operations. Launched on precise intelligence inputs, Operation Sindoor emerged as a landmark internal security operation, marking a decisive shift in India's fight against terrorism. The intelligence-led multi-agency mission focused on dismantling sleeper cells, disrupting terror funding and neutralizing threats before they could strike. Throughout the year, coordinated efforts by Central Armed Forces, state police, intelligence agencies and cyber units ensured swift action with minimal civilian impact. Several planned attacks were foiled, arms and explosives were seized and key operatives were arrested. Operation Sindoor not only strengthened internal security but also reinforced India's zero-tolerance stance on terrorism. As we rewind 2025, the operation stands out as a symbol of vigilance, precision and national resolve. On April 22, terror struck Pahalgam. Pakistan-backed attackers entered a village, identified victims by religion and killed 26 people. It was not just a terror strike, it was a calculated attempt to fracture India from within by inciting communal violence. India responded with Operation Sindoor, a focused and deliberate mission to dismantle the terror infrastructure behind the attack. As India exercised restraint, Pakistan escalated over the following days. Drones and artillery targeted religious sites, the Shambhu temple in Jammu, a Gurudwara in Poonch and Christian convents. These attacks were deliberate attempts to weaken India's unity. Operation Sindoor was conceived with clear objectives to punish the perpetrators and planners of terror and to destroy terror infrastructure across the border. India carried out a microscopic intelligence scan, identifying multiple terror camps and training facilities. The operation was guided by strict, self-imposed restraint. Only terrorist targets were engaged. Civilian harm was consciously avoided. In the first press briefing on May 7, India clarified that its response was focused, measured and non-escalatory. Pakistani military establishments were not targeted. However, India warned that any attack on its military assets would invite a suitable response. Across briefings on May 8, 9 and 10, Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri exposed Pakistan's design and detailed India's calibrated plan of action. When Pakistan escalated further, India responded decisively. Radar installations in Lahore and facilities near Gujranwala were destroyed. Heavily impacted, Pakistan's Director General of Military Operations contacted his Indian counterpart. Both sides agreed to stop all firing and military action on land, air and sea from 5 p.m. IST on May 10, 2025. Even after the ceasefire, waves of UAVs and small drones intruded into Indian civilian and military areas, always successfully intercepted. India's armed forces delivered a befitting response and field commanders were authorized to act against any ceasefire violation. Beyond the battlefield, a parallel information was unfolded. Following Operation Sindoor, Pakistan launched an aggressive misinformation campaign to distort facts and mislead the global audience. India responded with the transparency and digital vigilance, highlighting operational success with the precision, exposing manipulation by Pakistan-based sources, and promoting media literacy to counter fake news. Operation Sindoor combined military and non-military measures. It neutralized terror threats, deterred aggression, and enforced India's zero-tolerance policy on terrorism, while maintaining strategic restraint and securing international support. A key non-military decision was suspending the Indus Water Treaty of 1960, holding it in abeyance until Pakistan irreversibly ends support for cross-border terrorism. Pakistan depends on the Indus system for 80% of its agriculture and 93% of its water use. Any disruption threatens food security, power generation, and economic stability. For India, the suspension removed long-standing restrictions on infrastructure development in Jammu and Kashmir and the Western river systems. India also closed the Attari-Wagah border, suspended bilateral trade, revoked Pakistani visas, banned cultural exchanges, and declared Pakistani defense advisors persona non grata. Pakistan was diplomatically and economically isolated. Leadership during this crisis was decisive. Despite being abroad, Prime Minister Narendra Modi assumed direct command, balancing restraint with assertive action. Strategic unpredictability ensured Pakistan and its proxies could not prepare for retaliation. Targets were limited to high-value terror infrastructure, a clarity acknowledged across party lines. India's actions gained global support, reinforcing the principle that terrorism and its sponsors will be treated alike. On May 12, addressing the nation, Prime Minister Modi said Operation Sindoor reflects the emotions of millions and an unbroken pledge of justice. He laid down clear red lines: any terror attack will invite a fitting reply. India will not tolerate nuclear blackmail. No distinction will be made between terrorists and those who sponsored them. Terror and talks cannot go together. Terror and trade cannot go together. Water and blood cannot flow together. Operation Sindoor eliminated 9 major terror camps, killing over 100 terrorists. India struck deep into Pakistan and Pakistan occupied Jammu Kashmir, redefining rules of engagement. Indian forces bypassed and jammed Chinese supplied air defense systems, completing the mission in just 23 minutes using Rafale jets, Scalp missiles, and Hammer bombs. India's air defense systems intercepted hundreds of drones and missiles. Key terror commanders, including Yusuf Azhar, Abdul Malik Araf, and Mudassir Ahmad were neutralized. On May 9 and 10, India struck 11 Pakistani air bases, damaging a significant portion of Pakistan's air assets. The Army, Navy, and Air Force operated in full coordination. Operation Sindhu reshaped South Asia's strategic landscape. It was a calibrated assertion of sovereignty, resolve, and clarity. India sent an unambiguous message. Terrorism will be met with decisive action across borders without hesitation. Another defining highlight of 2025, the Mahakumbh Mela. Recognized as the world's largest spiritual gathering, the Mahakumbh in 2025 brought together millions of devotees from across India and around the globe. The mega event became a powerful symbol of faith, tradition, and national unity. What stood out this year was the scale of planning and execution. Advanced crowd management systems, enhanced security arrangements, real-time surveillance, and a large-scale medical preparedness ensured the smooth and peaceful conduct of the Kumbh. Despite unprecedented footfall, beyond spirituality, the Mahakumbh showcased India's administrative strength and organizational capability on a global stage. As we rewind 2025, the Mahakumbh remains a landmark moment where faith met discipline and tradition met modern governance.
चलो गोता खाएं संगम में कर तीर्थ स्थावर जंगम में हर 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 नर नारायण है यही आदि अंत परायण है चले चलो चले चलो चले चलो चले चलो चले
The Kumbh Mela is rooted in Hindu mythology, tracing its origin to Samudra Manthan, the churning of cosmic ocean, when drops of sacred nectar Amrit fell at four places: Prayagraj, Haridwar, Nashik and Ujjain. Among them, Prayagraj, the sacred confluence of the Ganga, Yamuna and mythical Saraswati, holds a special place. The Mahakumbh is believed to be the most auspicious of all, celebrated under a rare planetary alignments, making it one in a general spiritual event. The Mahakumbh Mela 2025 was held from January 13 to February 26, spanning 45 days. Major bathing days include Makar Sankranti, Mauni Amavasya, Basant Panchami, Maghi Purnima and Mahashivratri. Days when millions took a sacred dip at the Triveni Sangam, believing it would cleanse sins and grant salvation. Mahakumbh 2025 shattered all previous records. Over 66 crore devotees visited Prayagraj during the festival, making it the largest human gathering in recorded history. On peak days, over 10 crore people were persistent on the Mela area at the same time. The scale of temporary infrastructure, roads, pontoon bridges, hospitals, police stations, and sanitation facilities turned Prayagraj into a temporary megacity. The Mahakumbh was not just a spiritual event but a global spectacle. Prominent personalities including Draupadi Murmu, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and international artists like Chris Martin were seen taking part. Foreign pilgrims, vloggers, and researchers from across the world documented the festival, calling it a living symbol of India's civilized strength. However, the sheer scale also brought challenges. On Jan 29th, Mauni Amavasya, a tragic crowd crush near bathing ghats claimed several lives and left many injured. Authorities launched immediate rescue and medical operations while inquiries were ordered into crowd management lapses. The incident once again highlighted the risks of associated with mega religious gathering. Despite isolated incidents, Mahakumbh 2025 is being hailed as logistical and cultural success. Advanced surveillance systems, AI-based crowd monitoring, improved sanitation, and massive security deployment ensured largely smooth conduct. The event also boosted local employment, tourism, and infrastructure for development. A timeless tradition in a modern world, the Mahakumbh Mela 2025 stood as a powerful reminder for faith's unifying force. As millions return home with sacred memories, the echoes of devotion at the Sangam will resonate for generations to come.
अग्रान घिड़नक तकनक धुम किट तक गदि गनधा अग्रान घिड़नक तकनक धुम किट तक गदि गनधा चलो गोता खाएं संगम में कर तीर्थ स्थावर जंगम में हर 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 नर नारायण है यही आदि अंत परायण है चलो चले चलो चले चलो चले चलो चले
2:06 p.m. Thick black smoke rose over the city as emergency teams rushed to the scene. Eyewitnesses reported a deafening blast and scenes of chaos. Most on board, including 169 Indians, are feared dead. A mayday call was issued seconds after takeoff, but communication was lost soon after. The crash has triggered an outpouring of grief, with leaders from across the world expressing condolences. Prime Minister
Another notable moment of 2025, Subhanshu Shukla made headlines for his remarkable achievements this year. Recognized for his contributions in work drew national attention and set new benchmarks. His efforts have been acknowledged by peers, authorities and the wider community, inspiring many across the country. As we rewind 2025, Subhanshu Shukla stands out as a symbol of dedication, excellence and impactful contribution in his field. One of the biggest political highlights of 2025, the Delhi Assembly elections. The national capital witnessed a high-voltage electoral contest marked by intense campaigning, sharp political exchanges and voter-focused debates. Issues of governance, development, law and order and public services dominated the campaign narrative. The elections concluded with a significant political outcome leading to a change in leadership, Rekha Gupta took oath following the results, marking a key transition in Delhi's political landscape. Her swearing-in ceremony drew wide attention, with the senior leaders in attendance and strong public expectations from the new government. The Election Commission ensured tight security and smooth polling, reinforcing faith in the democratic process. As we rewind 2025, the Delhi elections stand out as a defining moment, reflecting the power of the ballot and shaping the future course of government in the capital.
रेखा गुप्ता ईश्वर की शपथ लेती हूँ कि मैं विधि द्वारा स्थापित भारत के संविधान के प्रति सच्ची श्रद्धा और निष्ठा रखूंगी। मैं भारत की प्रभुता और अखंडता अक्षुण्ण रखूंगी। मैं मुख्यमंत्री के रूप में अपने कर्तव्यों का श्रद्धापूर्वक और शुद्ध अंतःकरण से निर्वहन करूंगी तथा मैं भय या पक्षपात, अनुराग या द्वेष के बिना सभी प्रकार के लोगों के प्रति संविधान और विधि के अनुसार न्याय करूंगी। मैं रेखा गुप्ता ईश्वर की शपथ लेती हूं कि जो विषय मुख्यमंत्री के रूप में
Another major political milestone of 2025, the Bihar Assembly elections. The elections witnessed intense campaigning with the parties focusing on development, governance, law and order and public welfare. Voter turnout was significant, reflecting the democratic engagement of the people. Following the results, Nitish Kumar took oath as Chief Minister, marking a continuation of leadership in the state. The swearing-in ceremony drew senior political leaders and officials, highlighting its importance in his first address. Nitish Kumar emphasized development, transparency and inclusive governance as his administration's top priorities. The Bihar elections and Nitish Kumar's oath-taking stand out in 2025 as a key political chapter, reflecting both continuity and change in state governance.
मैं नीतीश कुमार सत्यनिष्ठा से प्रतिज्ञान करता हूँ। मैं नीतीश कुमार सत्यनिष्ठा से प्रतिज्ञान करता हूँ। मैं नीतीश कुमार सत्यनिष्ठा से प्रतिज्ञान मैं नीतीश कुमार सत्यनिष्ठा से प्रतिज्ञान करता हूँ। मैं नीतीश कुमार सत्यनिष्ठा से प्रतिज्ञान करता हूँ।
Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar has once again secured victory in the state elections, positioning himself to complete an extraordinary milestone of 25 years in office by the end of this term. This achievement would mark his silver jubilee as the longest-serving leader in Bihar's political history, underscoring his resilience, adaptability and mastery of coalition politics. Nitish Kumar's political journey began in the 1980s as part of the Janata Dal, where he worked alongside Lalu Prasad Yadav. His first taste of power came in 2000 when he was sworn in as Chief Minister, though his government lasted only 7 days. It was in 2005 that he firmly established himself as Bihar's most enduring political figure, returning to power with the BJP-led National Democratic Alliance. From that point onward, he became a central force in the state's politics, repeatedly navigating alliances and recalibrating strategies to remain at the helm. His career has been defined by frequent twists and turns in coalition politics. Between 2005 and 2013, Nitish aligned with the BJP-led NDA, projecting himself as a governance-focused leader. In 2013, he broke ties with the BJP and briefly led the Janata Dal United independently, before joining hands with the Rashtriya Janata Dal and Congress in 2015 to form the Grand Alliance, which successfully defeated the NDA. Yet in 2017, he dramatically returned to the NDA, citing corruption charges against RJD leaders. 5 years later, in 2022, he once again walked out of the NDA and rejoined the Mahagathbandhan, this time alongside RJD, Congress and left parties. Even in 2024-2025, speculations and maneuvering continued, with Nitish recalibrating alliances to retain power. In total, he has switched sides at least 4 times and has been sworn in as Chief Minister 7 times, a record unmatched in Bihar politics. Nitish defeated Lalu Prasad Yadav's Rashtriya Janata Dal, ending Lalu's 15-year reign in Bihar. The victory was built on Nitish's promise of governance, law and order and development, contrasting sharply with the RJD's image of misrule and corruption. His career has been marked by ministerial experience, a strategic resignation to focus on Bihar, a historic defeat of Lalu Prasad Yadav, and a controversial reputation for frequent alliance shifts. These elements together explain how he has managed to remain at the center of Bihar's politics for nearly 25 years, now stepping towards a silver jubilee as Chief Minister. Nitish Kumar earned the nickname Sushasan Babu or Mr. Good Governance for his early reforms in infrastructure, education and law and order. His governance model initially won praise for modernizing Bihar and improving its image nationally. However, his later years have been marked by criticism, with frequent U-turns in alliances and reliance on shifting coalitions, raising question about his consistency. Despite these controversies, his ability to balance ideology with pragmatism has ensured his political longevity, keeping him at the forefront of the Bihar's governance for 2 decades.
A major political controversy of 2025, Rahul Gandhi's allegation of vote theft. During the election season, Rahul Gandhi raises serious claims of malpractice, alleging irregularities and manipulation in the voting process. The statement sparked widespread debate across political parties, media and public forums. Intensifying scrutiny of election procedures, the Election Commission responded by reviewing the complaints and reaffirming the integrity of the electoral process, while opposition and ruling parties exchanged sharp statements on accountability and transparency. As we rewind 2025, this allegation remains a defining political flashpoint, highlighting the high stakes, heated debates and the central role of public trust in India's democratic process.
On November 5, 2025, Congress leader Rahul Gandhi held a high-profile media briefing in New Delhi, where he dropped what he dramatically termed a hydrogen bomb, the third and most explosive installment in his ongoing Expose series titled The H Files. This series is aimed at revealing what he alleges to be systematic electoral fraud in the 2024 Haryana Assembly elections. In this latest revelation, Rahul Gandhi claimed that over 5.21 lakh duplicate voters were identified in Haryana's electoral rolls, amounting to nearly 1 in every 8 voters being fake. He asserted that these discrepancies were not random errors but part of a deliberate and organized effort to manipulate urging them to rise against what he described as a broken and corrupt system. He drew parallels to youth-led political movements in Nepal and other countries, suggesting that young Indians could be the force that reforms the nation's democratic institutions. He emphasized that this was not just about Haryana, but about the future of Indian democracy, and he promised to coordinate with other opposition parties to launch a nationwide campaign against what he called vote chori, the theft of votes.
This lady gets to vote 100 times in Haryana if she feels like. Okay? Can you zoom? Okay, no. Why? Why is she being allowed to vote 100 times? Why is a picture in 100 records? This is to create space. This is to create space so that anybody can vote So that
by Congress to regain relevance ahead of the upcoming Bihar elections, some neutral observers called for an independent audit of voter rolls to verify the claims. Others questioned the timing and credibility of the data presented, noting that such serious allegations require rigorous scrutiny and legal follow-up. The issue has sparked.
हमने सुना नेता प्रतिपक्ष श्रीमान राहुल गांधी ने फिर से कुछ ऐसे बातें जो अपना विफलता को छुपाने के लिए प्रेस को एड्रेस किया। मैं सबसे पहले तो ये कहना चाहता हूं कि पिछले पार्लियामेंट सत्र में एक महिला का तस्वीर लेकर के, मिंता देवी नाम की एक महिला का तस्वीर को टी शर्ट में छपवा करके पार्लियामेंट के परिसर में घूमते रहा और उसको इतना उछला, शाम तक वो महिला ने इतना डांटा कांग्रेस पार्टी को कि उसको उम्र को 124 बता करके जितना बदनाम किया। तो ऐसा नकली फोटोग्राफ, नकली नाम, नकली इशू लेकर के राहुल गांधी और कांग्रेस पार्टी समय समय में बोलते रहते हैं, आप सबको अच्छी तरह से मालूम है।
Rahul Gandhi's hydrogen bomb statement has undoubtedly intensified the political discourse in India. Whether it leads to concrete action or remains a flashpoint in the ongoing battle between Congress and BJP will depend on how institutions, civil society and voters respond in the coming weeks. The allegations, if sustained, could have far-reaching implications for the legitimacy of recent elections and the credibility of India's democratic institutions.
Rupee falls and GDP growth. 2025 was a year of economic contrast while the Indian rupee witnessed a significant fall against major global currencies. The country's GDP growth remained robust, reflecting resilience in key sectors. The rupee's depreciation was influenced by global market trends, trade imbalances and foreign investment movements, impacting imports and inflation. At the same time, strong domestic consumption, government reforms and industrial performance helped us sustain a high GDP growth rate, demonstrating the underlying strength of the economy. As we rewind 2025, these economic developments highlight the challenges and opportunities faced by India navigating currency fluctuations while maintaining growth, momentum and investor confidence.
India's economy presented a striking paradox this week. On one hand, the rupee slipped beyond the 90 mark against the US dollar, a level never seen before. On the other, official data confirmed that GDP growth surged past 8% in the latest quarter, marking one of the strongest performances in recent years. This unusual combination of a weakening currency and robust growth has sparked debate among economists, policymakers and the public about whether the two signals are contradictory or simply reflective of different forces at play. And investor sentiment. Growth data is backward-looking, capturing what has already happened in the economy, whereas currency prices are forward-looking, reacting instantly to global shocks and financial flows. This means more value from dollars sent home. Students abroad and families dependent on imported goods feel the pinch, while sectors like IT services and textiles may find opportunities in the currency slide. The Reserve Bank of India is expected to monitor volatility closely. Its focus remains on inflation and growth, with calibrated intervention in the currency market to smooth disorderly moves. Currency intervention must be calibrated to avoid inflationary spillovers. In conclusion, India stands at a crossroads where domestic resilience meets external vulnerability. The story of GDP and the rupee is not one of contradiction but of coexistence, reminding us that economic health is multidimensional and shaped by both internal strength and global currents.
Another significant development of 2025, the reduction in GST rates on key goods and services. The government announced cuts aimed at boosting consumption, reducing the burden on consumers and providing relief to businesses across sectors. Essential commodities, everyday items and selected services benefited from the move, helping improve affordability and encouraging economic activity. Economists and industry experts welcome the decision, noting its potential to stimulate demand and support growth amid global economic challenges. As we rewind 2025, the GST reduction stands out as a landmark policy step, impacting both households and businesses and shaping India's economic landscape for the year.
You all are interested in knowing about automotive sector, about which you have been frequently asking us. From 28 to 18% on small cars and motorcycles which are equal to or below 350 cc. Reduction of GST from 28 to 18 on buses, trucks and ambulances. Uniform rate of 18% on all auto parts, irrespective of the HS code. From 28 to 18 again. So I moved to horticultural and forestry machines for soil preparation or cultivation, harvesting or threshing machines, including straw or fodder balers, grass or hay movers, composting machines, etc. Tableware, kitchenware and other household articles have all come to 5, whether they were in 18 or whether they were in 12. Similarly, reduction of GST from 5% to nil. 5 से 0 में जाने वाले items indicate कर रहा हूँ.
Of 2025, Prime Minister Narendra Modi hosting the national flag at the Red Fort on Independence Day. This year's celebrations were different as the nation's focus was deeply shaped by Operation Sindoor, the landmark security operation that neutralized a major terror attack threats and reinforced India's internal security. In his address, the Prime Minister acknowledged the courage of security forces, highlighted national achievements and urged citizens to remain vigilant while contributing to India's growth. The event featured ceremonial parades, cultural performances and participation from dignitaries reflecting both national pride and resilience. As we rewind 2025, this Independence Day stands out as a symbol of security, unity and patriotism in extraordinary times.
Taking into account newer sensibilities and needs and continuity, on the other hand, allowing us to be rooted and strong with a sense of belonging to something bigger than us. Flag hoisting ceremony.
tragic incident that shook 2025, the Sigachi chemical factory blast. The explosion at the chemical plant caused multiple casualties and injuries, prompting an immediate response from emergency and disaster management teams. Firefighters, medical personnel and law enforcement rushed to the site to control the situation and provide aid to the victims. Authorities launched a high-level investigation to determine the cause of the blast, while strict safety orders were ordered across similar facilities nationwide. Relief and compensation measures were announced for the affected families. The Sigachi chemical blast stands as a stark reminder of the importance of industrial safety, strict regulations and emergency preparedness.
In a tragic incident, an explosion at a chemical factory at Pashamalam industrial area of Telangana's Sangareddy district killed at least 35 workers and critically injured others. The incident occurred at the Sigachi. The blast triggered a massive fire within the factory premises, prompting emergency response teams to rush to the site. Preliminary information suggests that the explosion occurred without any prior warning, catching work. Several bodies have been found under the debris while removing it. Visited the blast site. State Health Minister said the state government had mobilized all necessary resources. Apparently, the explosion suspected to have triggered by a chemical reaction inside a reactor occurred between 8:15 a.m. and 9:35 a.m. on Monday. State Disaster Response Force, local fire personnel and police were deployed for rescue and firefighting operations. 2 firefighting robots were also used during the effort. The state government has constituted a 5-member committee to investigate the cause of the explosion and recommend safety measures. Prime Minister Narendra Modi also expressed his condolences and announced ex gratia assistance for the victims.
Another historic moment of 2025, Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurating the Chenab Rail Bridge, the world's highest railway bridge. The bridge spanning the Chenab River in Jammu and Kashmir represents a landmark achievement in engineering and national integration. During the inauguration, PM Modi praised the dedication of engineers and workers who overcame challenging terrain and extreme conditions to complete the project. The Chenab Bridge not only enhances connectivity in the region but also strengthens strategic mobility and tourism potential. It stands as a symbol of India's technological excellence, determination and progress. As we rewind 2025, the inauguration of the Chenab Bridge remains one of the year's most significant infrastructure milestones.
कैसे इस चेनाब ब्रिज पर दुनिया के सबसे ऊंचे सेतु का उद्घाटन करते हुए नजर आ रहे हैं प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी।
चलिए, इतिहास बन ही गया आज, जिसका इंतजार और जया मैम भी स्वागत कर रही हैं इस ऐतिहासिक क्षणों का। और हम सभी लोग देखिए, ये पवित्र नदी चिनाब नीचे से बहती हुई, जिनकी धारा को किसी भी तरह से बाधित नहीं किया गया, प्रकृति को किसी भी तरह से बाधित नहीं किया गया, और तमाम मुश्किलों के बावजूद भारत का झंडा और सशक्त रूप से दुनिया के सामने इस वक्त नजर आ रहा है। तस्वीरों में आप वो आत्म विकास की एक नई गाथा लिखी है, उसकी एक नई तस्वीर इस वक्त आप देख रहे हैं। प्रधानमंत्री खुद एक तरह से कहें तो ड्राइविंग सीट पर बैठे हुए, भारत के गति शक्ति की ड्राइविंग सीट पर खुद बैठे हुए।
चेनाब पुल का जो उद्घाटन है वो अब यहाँ पर हो चुका है। इन तस्वीरों में आप देख सकते हैं किस तरीके से भारतीय तिरंगा, भारत की आन बान शान, वो यहाँ लहराता हुआ नजर आ रहा है। और ये तस्वीर जब प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी ने चेनाब पुल का उद्घाटन किया, देश को इसको समर्पित किया, जम्मू कश्मीर में किस तरीके से आखिर ये विकास सेतु का एक प्रतीक नज़र आता हुआ, और साथ ही साथ ये नज़र आता हुआ कि भारत जो है वो कैसे आधुनिकता के शिखर पर आज पहुंच चुका है।
Another tragic moment that marked 2025, the Karur Stampede. The incident occurred during, leading to multiple casualties and injuries, Emergency services including police, medical teams and disaster response units rushed to the site to provide immediate assistance and manage the crowd. Authorities launched an investigation to determine the cause of the stampede and ensure accountability. Relief and compensation measures were announced for the victims and their families. The Karur stampede stands as a somber reminder of the importance of crowd management, safety protocols and preparedness during large public gatherings.
தண்ணி கொடுங்க தண்ணி போட்டு தண்ணி போட்டு தண்ணி கொடுங்க தண்ணி போட்டு கொடு தண்ணி போட்டு நண்பா கொஞ்சம் வழி விட்டுருங்க.
Another key moment of 2025, India's participation in the SCO Summit. The summit brought together leaders from the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, focusing on regional security, economic cooperation and strategic partnerships. India engaged in high-level discussions on trade, counter-terrorism, energy collaboration and geopolitical stability. Prime Minister Narendra Modi emphasized India's commitment to regional peace, economic growth and collaborative progress while strengthening diplomatic ties with the member nations. As we rewind 2025, India's active role at the SCO Summit highlights its growing influence on the global stage and commitment to multilateral cooperation. Another notable moment in 2025, Prime Minister Narendra Modi's Christmas celebrations. The Prime Minister extended greetings to citizens across the country, highlighting the spirit of unity, harmony and communal goodwill. Events and gatherings were organized at various locations, emphasizing India's cultural diversity and festive traditions. PM Modi's message encouraged citizens to celebrate responsibly, reflect on the values of peace and compassion, and strengthen bonds of friendship and national unity. As we rewind 2025, the Christmas celebrations led by the Prime Minister symbolize India's commitment to inclusiveness, tradition, and festive joy.
Your discernment, that he would lead this nation in the paths of truth, of justice, of righteousness, and Lord, that you would bless him. Amen.
2025 was a remarkable year for sports both in India and on the international stage. In cricket, the ICC Champions Trophy showcased a thrilling contest, while India's intense battles in the Asia Cup captured the imagination of fans, including the highly anticipated clash against Pakistan. On the women's front, the Women's Cricket World Cup delivered historic performances, highlighting India's growing dominance and the rise of new stars. Beyond cricket, India made its mark in other sports as well. The World Kho-Kho Championship saw our teams display skill and strategy on the global stage. Indian athletes excelled in the World Athletics Championships, earning medals and setting new benchmarks. 2025 also witnessed memorable performances in hockey, badminton, shooting and other international tournaments, reflecting India's growing presence and competitiveness in global sports. From cricket to athletics, 2025 will be remembered as a year of triumph, records and unforgettable sporting moments.
The year 2025 will go down as a golden chapter in Indian sporting history, marked by historic victories, breakthrough performances, and a growing global footprint across disciplines. Cricket once again led the celebrations as India dominated the international calendar with authority and consistency. The biggest triumph came with India lifting the ICC Champions Trophy 2025, finishing the tournament unbeaten and defeating New Zealand in a gripping final. The victory reaffirmed India's position as the most formidable force in the white ball cricket. This success was followed by another high-profile title as India clinched the Asia Cup 2025, overcoming arch-rivals Pakistan in a high-voltage final that captivated fans across the subcontinent. However, the most emotional and transformative moment of the year arrived when the Indian women's cricket team scripted history by winning their first ICC Women's World Cup. Indian athletes also delivered medal-winning performances at the Asian Athletics Championships with record-breaking runs, jumps, and throws, highlighting the country's growing competitiveness in track and field. Emotional scenes among players and fans alike. The season was filled with last-over thrillers, record-breaking innings, and breakout performances by young Indian and overseas players. However, the celebrations were marred by a tragic crowd-related incident during the post-final events in Bengaluru, raising serious concerns about crowd management and safety at large-scale sporting events. Overall, 2025 showed India not only as a sporting powerhouse in cricket, but also as a nation making steady, confident strides across multiple disciplines. From World Cup triumphs and continental titles to domestic league drama and grassroots growth, India's sporting journey in 2025 reflected ambition, depth, and a vision firmly focused on sustained global success. While Indian athletes celebrated success across the globe, 2025 was equally significant for the world sport beyond India's participation. Marked by historic breakthroughs, general shifts, and unforgettable moments, international cricket saw competitive bilateral series and strong performances by teams such as Australia, England, and New Zealand, as the global game continued its evolution across formats. Several associate nations also made headlines by challenging established teams, reflecting cricket's growing global reach. Tennis. After years of near misses, the French club delivered a dominant performance in the final, reshaping European football's power dynamics. Domestic leagues across Europe also produced dramatic title races, surprise champions, and emotional farewells, keeping football fans engaged throughout the year. International sporting calendar. The World Games 2025 brought together athletes from non-Olympic disciplines, celebrating diversity in sport and providing global platform for emerging events. Combat sports, motor sports, and winter sports also delivered gripping moments with championship-deciding performance, keeping fans worldwide on the edge of their seats. As 2025 concludes, the global sporting landscape reflects a year of transformation, new rivalries, and historic firsts. From Grand Slam battles and football milestones to World Championship spectacles, the year reaffirmed sports' power to unite, inspire, and evolve beyond borders, setting the stage for an even more competitive and captivating 2026.
As we we wrap up our Rewind 2025 special story, it is clear that this year was a mix of historic achievements, political milestones, sporting triumphs, and moments of reflection. From Operation Sindoor and the Mahakumbh Mela to major events in politics, sports, infrastructure, and the economy, India faced challenges, celebrated victories, and moved forward with resilience and determination. 2025 has reminded us of the nation's strength, unity, and progress, and set the stage for the year ahead. Thank you for joining us on CVR English channel. From all of us here, I'm Jyoti, wishing you a safe and prosperous year ahead.